Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome in. Welcome one, welcome all. I hope you guys are having a great day, because it's about to get a little bit better. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Flynn Shadow's day. Flynn Shadow here is putting on a cooperative competition where we're going to be facing off some of the best players in forts in the cooperative teams against each other. And I know you guys are all here for it because I am, and I'm looking forward to this. So right now, we're getting all things set up in the typical cat herding manner. So we'll be here and ready to swap over to the action camera here in a minute. But for now, I want to say hello one, hello all. How are you guys doing today? As is usual for our competitive matches, we do have a stream delay, so there won't be too much in the way of rapid response times. But if you guys have any questions, of course, feel free to post them in chat and we'll get to them usually between matches, as we're getting ourselves set up for the first match here. Hello there, Glarvisk, Prawn Suit, Progenitor, Were Ducky, Champion, Henry, Jelly Tiki, Space Base, Great Woo, Great Woo. Last night, Great Woo. Like, I realized we weren't trying to go crazy, we weren't doing, like, the wild stuff. Like, I was even using big doors, like, to just keep things tame. They were still satisfying. Still funny. What's the drink for today? Tea? Yes. Today I have tea. Although I've already consumed most of my tea, so I've got a little bit of tea left, and then I'll have to swap on over to variant fruit juice. Okay. Looks like we're getting the commander bands done right now. Let me go ahead and hop into the VC with Flynn Shadow. And so you guys can have a talk with Flynn Shadow themselves. Or at least listen to them. Hello there, Flynn. Looks like Flynn Shadow is a little bit occupied handling the behind the scenes, handling all the cat herding things. So we'll get to hear their voice when they get around, when they have a moment.
Yes.
Warning. Nuclear launch
Hey.
detected.
Hello. It's like finally hopefully done. Mayhaps.
Excellent. This isn't Space Takers, is it? This is BDG versus
Space Takers. Yes.
It is Space Takers. Okay. Now the name and the logo are not correlated in my brain yet. All right. I was like, this says Space Takers, but is it? All right, then in that case, it looks like we're good to go. So let's jump right into the action, shall we? Let's go.
The new loading screen.
Oh my god,
Looks
the
pretty
new loading
well.
screen.
Yeah, it works
It's-
well as a starting thing.
Yes, it is incredibly good. Like, I will say this. One thing, I mentioned it before. The Forge devs have been adding all of these quality of life things. These are things that have been largely common throughout RTS games for a very long time. But, oh, they even changed the player panels, so they're not as... Oh, I'm going to leave those on. Okay. Yeah. So they've gone through and done a whole lot of changes and added in these massive quality of life effects, and it is so nice. It is so nice to see. It makes me even more excited, and every time I see new players, I was just lurking in the Fords category last night, and as I know a few members in chat saw me because I was doing things. Anyways, I was watching some newer players play the game, and there was all the features that I was talking about, like all these quality of life things, the loading screens, the visualizations, the replays, effects. They were making comments about how much they liked these, and I'm like, oh my god, this was added 7 days ago. And it's already getting compliments from new players who don't know the game, who just played the game like for the first time yesterday. So that's it. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of the developers, and it makes me happy to see, because it makes the game better, which means more players, more community.
Yeah, it's definitely a sign of polish. It's purely because we've played so long that they can really make a solid structure that is enjoyable.
Well, I mean, I would assume it's because that the people keep buying the game, so they can realistically afford to pay their developers to keep doing it. Because, well, that's kind of usually how that works. Actually, I'm noticing something, and I need to pause for a moment, which is really rather unfortunate. I'm not sure if it's going to pause because I'm on dedicated host.
Did it not pause?
I haven't pressed the pause button because I don't want to press the pause button because they're in the middle of a match. You know what? I can deal with it after. We'll just come back around to that one. All right. But it looks like for this match specifically, things are starting to get crazy. And by crazy, I mean the EMP opener has shown itself once more as Team Brain Damage on the left side is opening up with a little bit of aggression. By that I mean it's the token EMP launcher. The EMP launcher is fairly cheap. It can be thrown in on top of the build order without meaningfully slowing down the build, and applies pressure to the opposing team, and can actually deal some real damage, real economic damage if left completely unchecked. As Team Brain Damage is going for what we could say is a rather standard build, going straight toward heavy weapons. We already see the laser production. I lied. That's not a standard build. We see both laser production and cannon production technology on the field, which is not usually how that goes. Usually teams will stick to one or the other because you can get them out that much faster. But you eventually do get both. So it's not crazy. It's just out of order is a way to describe it, and thus not exactly the normal build order. Whereas Team Space Takers is going for the very popular swarm missile laser combination, where they use these swarm missiles as either damage or anti-shield, and just to apply pressure, because swarm missiles are great at applying pressure. And then you use the lasers, which synergize so very well with the missiles, to do the actual late game crushing power that the swarm missiles just lack. So I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out. Given that Brain Damage is doing things about out of order, they're going to have later weapons, which means they're going to have less map control, less momentum throughout the map, and it's going to hit them pretty hard in a moment, because it's on cannon o'clock right now, and that fire beam is rearing and ready to go. Once we get that fire beam plasma combo going, it's going to deal some serious damage to their opponents, and well, at least potentially serious damage. And that could be... Oh, but it hits into energy shields. Team Brain Damage knows what they're doing. They're getting themselves set up with preemptive energy shields, and with those energy shields, they keep their cannons alive. While Team Brain Damage seeded the opening volleys and, well, any amount of pressure in the early game, or even mid-game due to their, not building weapons, they did manage to defend against the opening volleys of Team Space Takers, just because they built energy shields preemptively. I assume because Team Space Takers probably revealed their technology choice and Brain Damage saw it. A question from chat: is economy shared between players? Yes, this is the co-op competition, and the co-op game mode means all players on every team control every fort with the same resources. There are not two forts; it is a single fort, just mildly disconnected by any physical means. As here comes Team Space Takers launching the nuke, and what is that? Is that the sound of no AA? Nuclear launch detected. With that, Team Space Takers has free reign to follow up. Those energy shields slaughtered and destroyed by the nuke. The sniper follow-up, cleaning up anything the lasers didn't. And now, there's the plasma. Cutting clean through, touching that howitzer once again. Team Brain Damage's forward Morse cores down to 23% and dropping. With only one howitzer remaining and no way of meaningfully using it, Team Brain Damage is definitely feeling the pain from having conceded the earlier parts of the game. As they just can't fire back right now, and Team Space Takers is going to take advantage of that by blowing up Brain Damage's core. And there you have it, Team Space Takers in a huge lead, as Brain Damage, despite trying to go with the artillery trajectory with that howitzer, doesn't quite do it, because that's a little bit close for a howitzer. The forts just aren't in position for that. They need to have a direct fire howitzer angle, and that's just not going to happen without revealing the howitzer and opening it to direct fire from the lasers, which is something they really can't afford to do right now, given that Team Space Takers is, well, ramping up their weapons production and their firepower. We have another nuclear launch detected. No AA to stop it, so in it goes, and there's a hit. The core is on fire. 7% remaining on Team Brain Damage's last remaining core. Look, another nuke launcher. Almost completed, under construction. 2 more buzzsaws added in. Team Brain Damage, looks like they finally got their howitzer set up for a direct firing solution. They technically have the ability to fire it right now. And that's all she wrote. Team Space Takers wipes the floor with Team Brain Damage. And there goes round 1 to Team Space Takers. A beautiful shot indeed. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the shot that started it all. One nuke colliding, destroying all those energy shields with the perfectly timed lasers to follow through and clear out everything else. Look at that. Team Brain Damage trying to sell off the howitzer, but too little too late. Significant damage dealt, and that is how you clean this up. As we get ready to set up for the next match, the next round. How long is the stream delay? Right now, I believe it's on 30 seconds. Just more token than anything else. It's a short match. Short round? Yes. Yes. That is one of the side effects of conceding the early game, or at least conceding the mid game. Like you can concede the early game if you focus on defense, but the mid game, when the weapons really start to come out, you can't do that. You get shot, and then there's no recovering from that. That's usually how that goes. Like, the howitzer rush is definitely strong, but going for both technologies into 2 howitzers before firing, it's just too late. You can't do that. Shout out to Kalijah, coming in with the nuclear launch. Not even a message, just dropping that support to support. Thank you, thank you. I feel like this is one of those games you can just sell your soul to get good at. Nah. Forge is a relatively simple RTS game. It's nothing like StarCraft levels. One of the things we enjoy about Forts is in all of these competitions, there's always a set of new players that come and join because they can. And sure, they often lose, but they have an opportunity, and eventually they get good, and it's always a joy to see. Always a joy to see. And shout out for the tournament, yes. That's not how that's supposed to work. One of these teams is not like the other, or one of these teams is made of 3. All right. I'm just going. I've already set kick duration to 0, so if he doesn't leave of his own accord momentarily, I'll just press the button. Are we sure we want? I mean, I don't mind.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Not having too many people in the lobby is
one of the joys of it. Yeah. Okay. So I'll leave him observer for. You know, that's always the problem. Whenever we start leaving players on spectator, the lobby just immediately fills up because everyone wants in. But I'll leave it. But if he causes a problem, then I've already got the setting made.
That is fine. If you want to swap team 1 and team 2.
Okay. All right, and we're off. into the next round. Okay, 1 second. One moment. Yeah. So I messed the teams up right at the last second. I swapped the teams, but not the names. Alright, where is it? There it is. Okay. And we're off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next round. As here we have, on the left-hand side, it is Team Space Takers. Players Cloud and Eaton are playing as the Pinch Fist Commander, most known for its ability to sell everything off and make themselves a bit speedier, a bit more expeditious along the early game elements of the game. Whereas Team Pro Aim, team you may recognize. Why do you change your names like this? Why do you keep doing this? You know what? I'm just calling them Pro Aim. I'm not participating in this. Mateo, why are you like this? They're playing as the Warthog Commander. Warthog Commander known for its ability to empower heavy weapons. If you want to hit your opponent really hard and break their brains and any of their defenses along the way, Warthog is the way to go. Of course, Warthog does require that you have heavy weapons, which is not always the case, given that there are more weapons in the game, such as swarm missiles and rockets and all kinds of things which can cause all manner of madness and destruction along the way. Yeah, looks like he's having... You see, should have just kicked them. It's fine. Alright. So, as things are going, this map is anything but standard.
Yes.
To say the least. We have multiple disconnected elements which have to be individually defended and expanded upon. Which is certainly an exciting difference that I'm just largely not familiar with. There's also a rear expansion, which Team Space Takers has already gone through. In fact, Team Space Takers has claimed every possible expansion. That's not true. There's still another middle expansion between the lower expansion point and the center starting point. So we're seeing all kinds of things being placed all over the place, kind of by design. This place is just messy. And oh boy, I feel like Team Space Takers has at least a little bit of practice on this map, because they're gonna start doing some stuff that's gonna make Team Pro Aim have a bad day. Or at least try to, but Team Pro Aim recognized what Space Takers is doing. Specifically, Team Space Takers to the left is getting an AP sniper, and they're going to make an attempt at sniping out the barrels for Team Pro Aim. And with those barrels gone, so too goes the ability for Team Pro Aim to defend their expansions. We're going to see that moment there. Pro Aim did properly defend their barrel against an AP sniper, but they didn't defend against a buzzsaw and an AP sniper, which is what they're having to deal with right now. And is that it? That's it. Team Pro Aim loses 2 of their expansions right out the gate. Oh jeez, it's getting even more untenable for Team Pro Aim. Pro Aim, as the Warthog Commander, is doing what you would expect for the Warthog Commander, going straight to heavy weapons. However, having lost 5 mines and 2 turbines worth of economy, due to having lost their expansions, any and all heavy weapons are just kind of unfortunate right now, because heavy weapons are expensive, and they don't have much in the way of money. In fact, they've just spent pretty much the last of their money and the last of their income on getting a single heavy weapon, which probably will not compete particularly well versus versus Space Taker's wide array of economic investments. We see multiple swarm missile launchers being constructed for Team Space Takers as they transition more toward this mid-game experience. Given that Team Space Takers already has an upgrade center, I do expect to see nukes coming soon. Oh boy, that is yet another swarm missile launcher in the top expansion.
Looks like they're definitely playing to the map because you have such a wide variety of angles. You usually need to be the aggressor. So while getting a heavy weapon isn't a bad idea, it is definitely risky.
Absolutely. Its map control is definitely the name of this game, and Team Space Takers knows it. I do want to say that this doesn't by any means write off Team Pro Aim here, especially given the flimsy nature of Team Space Taker's base, and given that they've spent pretty much all of their resources on the expansions. The primary core itself is lacking in defenses. In fact, I don't think it's unreasonable to make the guess that a single howitzer round could end this game right here and right now. And Pro Aim, well, their howitzer is coming online in just a few seconds, so we'll get to test that theory in a moment.
I have a feeling the splash is just going to be a little too far. If they built a buzzsaw, I'm pretty sure it would be a guaranteed kill. But yeah, a little stable there.
Very close. Very, very close. Only taking 1% HP off of the core itself, but nearly wiping out. I don't know which would have been better, going a direct hit to the core with that Warthog active, or attempting to knock it over, because going for the foundation, surely Team Pro Aim saw the stability tech.
Actually, one thing to note here, the main reason why I was able to do so much damage is specifically because of Warthog active. It managed to get through one more background bracing. So I think in that situation, you would have been able to splash down the core and kill him if you had aimed. But
that's what I was thinking they were going to aim for, and I was a little surprised to see them go for the foundation. But I mean, the foundation to me seems also like a good idea. It's also a good place to aim for obvious reasons. But here comes a nuke. Oh, that could have been so much worse if that had actually gone into the box rather than just touching the sand on the outside. Oh boy. This sniper. One of the things I love about the co-op games is that you always have the dedicated sniper player that just sits on the sniper and does amazing amounts of damage. It's satisfying every time. As we have another nuke launching for Team Space Takers. The double nuke option. Completely cleaving off. Shearing off every bit of defense off the front of Pro Aim's core. But it isn't enough to do real damage to the core or any of its internals.
looks like Team 2 is definitely taking back map control. And at the moment, they don't have any Dort snipers. So there's absolutely a possibility, assuming this nuke volley doesn't kill them, for them to come back.
There is. Mind you, I do think this game will trend toward Team Space Takers given any more amount of time, simply due to economic advantage. Like, these nukes, they're hurting a lot. And Team Pro Aim is only on plus 13 metal production right now, which is a far cry from the plus 30 for Team Space Takers. Like, that cannot be overstated. Team Pro Aim has a limited amount of time in this match. There it is. The double nuke launch is enough to break through. Pro Aim, with not enough income to fully repair their base, they go down. And there we have it. All right. As this match will be a best of 3. Why did none of the players have the map downloaded? I guess it's not that big a deal.
There were 2 versions of it. As some of the players had the opportunity to scout the maps, some of the maps, earlier than the others. Well, each team had the opportunity to scout 2 maps out of the pool before they were revealed the day before. So it's not surprising that they don't all.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I know you did this on purpose. But like, I had the maps downloaded. And I'm not even participating this time. Nah, it's understandable. Alright. I think I'm going to kick the brain damage players because they're not playing this time.
They're trying to sneak in to the teams.
You know, I could. Okay, I'm gonna just. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. I don't want to have to press the kick button right now. Ooh, everyone can play nicely. All right. Looks like we're ready to go. Are we swapping sides?
No.
Okay. Is there a new commander band for this one?
Yes, I type it. C.
Okay.
The previously played commanders are banned.
All right then. Let's go. And we're off. Ladies and gentlemen, to round 2 in this match, this best of 3. Here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Space Takers. Eaton and Cloud getting themselves set up across their singular base. Whereas their opponent's Team Pro Aim are looking to do something similar. So the commanders tell a little bit of a story here. Not too much of a story, as they do play somewhat similar. I'm actually, you know, Space Takers playing as Architect. I'm a fan of Architect. I like Architect. Architect makes me happy, and it makes me happy to see Architect being played a little bit more. Just spike in popularity since it's more advanced strats have been used to great success.
Especially with the high eco on this map. It's probably going to end up pretty nicely. That is, assuming Eagle Eye doesn't come out with a double howitzer and end that game early.
Oh yeah. And that's, you see, that's exactly what I was referring to when I mentioned the commanders tell a story. As Eagle Eye from Team Pro Aim, well, Eagle Eye with its double shot weapons can deal massive amounts of burst damage. And it's, you can just get a howitzer and double shot it and break through most things. Same kind of deal with cannons or lasers. Whereas Team Space Takers with the Architect Commander usually does a bit more high eco, bit more defensive play, while still sticking to the general build order that we tend to call standard or common, something along the lines of heavy weapons rushing or some mid-game plays into heavy weapons. Yeah, here we see a deviation from the standard already, with the upgrade center coming down already for Team Space Takers. But the reason why we see this is because Architect's active ability gives them bonus build speed. This means that they can reasonably or reliably fall behind in their build order, in this case purposefully by deviating into the upgrade center technology. And then, once their commander ability is charged, they can activate their commander ability to gain build speed and bring themselves back up to the same position, the same spot in the build order as their opponent's Pro Aim. So, doing so generally concedes the first volley or two, but they're able to get the benefit of something like, say, an upgrade center along the way. Something that Pro Aim can't do without massively reducing their build times, massively increasing the time it takes for them to get weapons out on the field. So it is an interesting little dynamic here, and Team Space Takers is just going off the rails. They've added 3 mortars. This is gonna be a match. This is gonna be a bit of a slog fest. Now, typically when we see people getting this level of scrappy, it kicks off at like the 2-minute mark. We're coming up on 4 minutes now, so these mortars are later than you would expect mortars to be if they were going for mortars. So I don't know what the plan here is exactly, other than to be annoying with these. But with the triple upgrades, Team Pro Aim knows something is going wrong, and they're reacting by building machine guns around. Alright. So they have some semblance of an idea of what's going around. Their scouting has been successful. Good job. I don't think they know exactly what it is. Yeah, the AA is not online just yet, but they don't have to react massively to these mortars since they've already partially reacted. Mind you, those mortars are landing. Those are heavy mortars, and heavy mortars deal a lot of damage, being one of the most cost-efficient weapons in terms of DPS. Heavy mortars, if they're permitted to land uncontested, are you can't do that. That's one of the things you just can't allow to happen as the defending team. So, Space Takers are looking to take advantage of that moment and deal as much damage as they can. It looks like Team Pro Aim will successfully defend against them, so that's not something that Space Takers will get an advantage on here. The mortars are just a little late. Pro Aim had plenty of time to make up the difference. Whereas here comes the first laser beam. Another interesting note, Team Space Takers managing to get the first lasers on the field and the opening volley for heavy weapons, just because Team Pro Aim dilly-dallied a bit too much, going for double howitzer without firing any of them. Team Space Takers may have done a deviation, gone down a tangent, a detour across their build order to get mortars along the way, but they detoured not quite as far as Team Pro Aim did. As Pro Aim, well, they got 2 mortars, 2 heavy, not mortars, they got 2 heavy howitzers, and it was a little bit too heavy-handed for them, as they just couldn't keep up with Team Space Takers' pace. And for it, they lose a core. Team Pro Aim loses the lowermost core, and with it, pretty much all of their hopes of surviving in this match. As Team Space Takers still rolling with 2 fire beams, a plasma beam, and 3 heavy mortars are starting to pull down and around the curtains on Pro Aim's last remaining base. Oof. Yeah, that's devastating. And there it is. There's the concede. Team Pro Aim is knocked out. Well done. 6.5 minutes. Very well done, Team Space Takers. Okay. I need to remake the lobby real quick. I'll be right back. Thank you. Why is my music not working? Okay.
Good question.
There we go. All right, it's back. Let us go. Okay, so I believe everything is ready to go. We just need the players. And this is PA versus BOG.
Yes.
Turbensi. Excellent. I was talking about this on the Discord earlier. My younger brother made something called, what is it? Barley tea. Barley tea? I think it's barley tea. Hadn't heard of that before. Tea is a strong word for it. It has that roasted flavor that you get from coffee. Very smooth. It also has very cereal flavor. Like, have you ever had like Cheerios or grain-based cereals? But it has the texture of tea. It's interesting. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I want to try it with a few other things, other than just straight. Actually, Flynn, I have a question for that last match. The last map I saw is it had that very abyss-like climb.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you can get up and around the back of it.
Yes, you absolutely can.
That's interesting.
Theoretically, if you put portals on your core, you could probably swing them back behind the map and become invulnerable.
If you put portals around you... I mean, you would have to move the core. Like, portals are not invulnerable.
Yeah, it would be very difficult.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, like, that's just a return to sender with extra steps? Like...
Yeah, something.
Okay. Like, the amount of... It would be so very difficult to get the core, because you'd have to lift the core, which is just difficult to begin with. And then you get it up and around. That would be like a 30-minute process.
Unfortunately, Forts is a little too springy for large movements.
Yeah. Unless they're going downward, but that's a different issue. Bracket? No, we do not have a bracket for this one. It's going on of a kind of custom format, so we don't have a proper bracket for this one. There is a spreadsheet which is being tallied for the purposes of keeping track of things, but that's not something that's worth checking out for the viewers on you guys. We're having matches. Some matches are longer than others, and we will announce victory at the end. Always make moving the core look easy. Well, that's because I use well-practiced and almost preset core swings. Most core swings are finicky. Let me rephrase. Core swing is a very finicky tactic. It's something that's not intentionally added by the devs. It's just a consequence of the physics interactions. So it doesn't work particularly well. Like, it's almost like using a bug, almost. And it easily breaks. So rather than just go at it and swing the core, I use very well practiced and refined patterns that apply specifically to a single map and nothing else. This way it always works, and don't have to worry about it. And it looks like it's perfectly clean, because it is, but only because it's been refined to such a substantial degree.
Is this team deathmatch?
It shouldn't be. It is.
Yes. A little unfortunate.
One moment. And then we'll jump into it again. There we go. I could have sworn I set it to co-op. I could have sworn I set it to co-op the first thing I did when I opened up the lobby. Okay. And we're off. Here on the left-hand side, it is Team Bog or La Familia. Facing off against their opponents, Team Pro Aim. Of course, they're Bensi and Slack playing as the Eagle Eye commander. Eagle Eye, you know it, you love it. It's the commander that gets double shot weapons, which means that all those heavy weapons can get extra powerful with some extra burst damage, which is quite the good. Very popular commander recently, especially since the patch which buffed it. So, or reworked it is a better word, but it's pretty much just a buff. Whereas Team Pro Aim is Pro Aim here on the right hand side is playing as the Pinch Fist commander. The Pinch Fist commander, incredibly popular, although doesn't have quite as high win rate as it once did. Just because other commanders now compete with it. The Pinch Fizz commander is the commander of anemic bases and, well, all the dirtiest and quickest rushes. Is the commander where you get 100% retail value off of anything in your base you sell. This means you can sell internal components, basic infrastructural pieces, and struts that keep your fort hold steady and intact. And in doing so, you get extra money, which you can then immediately reinvest into additional economy or technology to get a little bit ahead of your build order. Quite good. Comes highly recommended. Of course, it also leaves you with a rather skeletal base hanging on by oftentimes a literal thread in the form of a rope. A base which can be quickly knocked over by just about anything. So there are upsides and downsides to it, as is everything in forts. In terms of build orders, I'm not seeing anything extraordinary for either team. Looks like Team Bog is going with a cannon flavor of heavy weapons rush. They're also investing quite extensively into their own economy, maxing out their mine capacity, going up to a whopping plus 45 metal per second, which is kind of a lot. They don't have an upgrade center, so they won't be upgrading their mines in the near future. This is compared to Team Pro Aim, with the Pinch Fizz commander also investing heavily into their mines, going up to that same number. However, they are a little bit ahead in terms of technology, so while Team Bog here on the left set up with 1 howitzer, Team Pro Aim's getting set up with 2 plasmas and 2 fire beams. The double-double, which is a little bit dangerous, and if Team Familia, Team Bog here on the left doesn't do something about that, if they don't get energy shields or get some manner of defense against quad lasers, well, they're gonna get sliced. It's gonna get real bad for them real quick, because that is a huge amount of firepower coming out of Team Pro Aim.
Assuming they fired correctly.
Assuming they fire correctly. That's true. Hey, Mateo's on Team Pro Aim, alright? They got this.
That is true. They're gonna need Team 1 is definitely gonna need a shield or some snipers. This could end badly without them.
Oh yeah. Even the sniper probably won't save them, but at least they'll avenge themselves. As here comes shot 1, because it's cannon o'clock, and that's early too. Like that was before 4:30 on the clock, which is about as early as it gets. First energy shield placed and active for Team Bog here on the left-hand side. Oh, they're going straight for the core. Yeah. If he lines that shot up, there it is. And they still have an extra plasma to do that again. Like, that's kind of a lot. Mind you, they didn't have the energy to fire the second plasma. Oh no. Team Bog, they're trying to get to their old base as so many snipers at the buzz. They're not gonna let that happen. Team Bog is doing everything they can to try to reclaim the now burning base, because the base is what has all their weapons in it. They need this chunk up here, or blue team here's got nothing. Like, they have no weapons. They've got technology to construct new weapons, but that's gonna be a good 4 or 5 minutes away. Can you face tank this much firepower for 5 minutes? no. Or at least they're not confident in it, but it would seem they don't have a choice anymore, as away goes their hopes and dreams up in smoke and fire. Mostly fire. Hey, there's the upgrade center. Looks like Team Pro Aim is pining to get themselves set up with a bit more eco. Once ahead, get further ahead. Oh, that hurts so much, having to reconstruct your basic economy. Like, they lost everything in that. The worst part is, it's not even destroyed yet. They get to watch it burn in front of their eyes, slowly taken from them. That's a lot of defense. They just face tanked that entire volley. Double fire beam, double plasma, all perfectly aimed. It didn't cut all the way through. Team Pro Aim will need more firepower to break through Bog's final remaining base here, but they've got all the time in the world to do so. Almost perfectly aligned. Almost. The sniper. Oh, but that's such a tiny door. Hey, he gets him through it. Managing to win the sniper duel on that. Impressive. As the laser beams go back and forth. Not even back and forth, it's just extra laser beam coming from Team Pro Am because they can. We do see, I believe, miniguns coming out of this forward base here. That will get rid of a lot of the sandbags and chew away at the wood in front of Blue Team's defense here. Leaving it more vulnerable to the lasers. Of course, miniguns very vulnerable to snipers. So Team Pro Aim will want to deal with that sniper before something happens to those miniguns. Alas. Is that not actual water? Or did that just the physics not kick in there?
It is not actual water.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute. Water physics are a thing. Why is that not... there it is. Team Pro Aim takes victory in this round. Well done. Alright, it looks like we're going to be doing a best of 3 in this instance. Question from Chad. Who's co-host with Incursus? This is Flinn Shadow. Hello, Flinn Shadow. Flinn Shadow is the one who is the primary host of this tournament, this competition, putting on the event and doing the cat herding. So shout out to Flinn putting all this together to get these good games to the fans. These kind of games that you guys enjoy. Alright, it looks like we're almost ready to go into the next match. The next round.
What were the last two commanders? I already forgot.
Last two commanders were Pinch Fist and I believe it was Eagle Eye.
Yes, it was. Alright.
Architect was the global ban, yes? Yeah.
Yep, so they banned Warthog, Architect to start, and now that they played Pinch and Eagle Eye, those are also banned.
Excellent. In before Spook. Alright, the players will be reading up in 1 moment. Don't forget to hydrate and stretch. That's right, chat. Remember to hydrate, stretch those legs, stretch those arms. I was just up and running around all over the place. I've got plenty of tea here with me today. It's not true, I don't have plenty of tea anymore. I drank most of it. Well, I'm going to have to get a replacement at some point soon. All right. And we're off. Into the next round. The sides are the same, but the commanders are swapped. It is Scattershot versus Spook. Big shock. Here we have on the right-hand side victors of the last round in this best of 3. Team Pro Aim are playing as the Spook commander. They will be... Well, these days, Spook is, at least in the competitive scene, more used almost strictly for the resource steal than anything else. As much as the bonus scouting capabilities are cool, they really aren't that big of a deal. Frankly, players at this skill level, they know how to scout for themselves. They don't need Spook's help to do it. So we're looking to get some extra resource steal from Team Pro Aim. Interesting that they're opening up... Okay, I think this is going to be a different strategy than one we often see. We'll talk about that one in a moment. Because Team Bog here in the blue on the left... Well, they seem to be going for something akin to a standard build order. Now, mind you, the standard build order for the Scattershot commander usually involves 20 mils because, well, Scattershot boosted 20 mils hit harder than a cannon. And, yeah, okay, I think Pro Aim here is revealing their hand. In fact, Bog here on the left side is already reacting to it. This is quad rockets, which is a lot of rockets. The upgrade center is completing in a moment, which means those EMPs will be upgraded to the dual rockets, the explosive variants. I suspect we're going to see 1 EMP, 3 standard rockets here with snipers at a top base, probably another sniper or 2 in oh no, 4 rockets. Okay. Y'all don't have the energy for this. You have 3 turbines. The rockets are greedy, power-hungry things. Also, rockets are incredibly devastating. Typically, the general rule is once you get hit by 3 rockets, you need your teammate to save you because the repair bill for the massive amounts of damage dealt by 3 rockets is so big that you cannot do anything other than repair. So you need your teammate to save you. Mind you, this is a co-op match, so they do not have a teammate. Both forts are the same base, thus they have the same eco and resource income. And with that, it does mean that the 3 rockets won't be enough to soft lock Team 1 here. But it will be enough to deal game-ending damage given enough time to drain the eco. It's just a matter of, can Team 1 survive long enough to stabilize themselves? As the rockets are landing, dealing good damage, but out come the AA, the point defense, to knock those rockets out of the sky. Of course, Team Pro Aim knows this is going to happen and has already got a shotgun on the field, which I'm sure will be making a making his debut right now. So likely to see other shotguns and snipers mixed into the lot, as the snipers are just picking off machine gunners left and right. I do want to say these are some incredibly well placed gunners, where gunners in the top base only have an angle to the lower components, whereas the gunners in the lower base only have an angle to the upper spots. That way they can't be directly fired upon by most of the weaponry from Team Pro Aim, from their opponents, which means they work really well. Unfortunately, it's not quite enough to fully regain map control, but it will be enough to delay their demise. And if they delay their death long enough, then Team Bog here on the left will be able to construct heavy weapons of their own and utilize those 20 mils to a great effect. Oh yeah, that's too much damage. That's 4 direct hits with rockets. You can't let that happen. That's incredible amounts of damage. Mind you, Team Pro Aim doesn't have the energy income to sustain that kind of firepower. That will give Bog here just a little bit of time. Notice these rockets are coming in staggered as opposed to a clump, which gives the AA just a little bit better of a chance of clearing the skies. Looks like Pro Aim is massively investing into their turbines, which is something they need to do if they're looking to sustain this amount of firepower. Here comes another burst fire of rockets. Yep, and there's the digging process, and there it is. Kaboom. Flynn, that water was solid. Well, with 1 core down, Team Bog has limited places left to defend, as Pro Aim is looking to wipe them off the map. Looks like Pro Aim is aiming at the mines, the economy of the lower position, of Team Blue's lower position. Looking to grind down the eco rather than go directly to the core and burst through it. I think either option is perfectly acceptable and work out at similar degrees of effectiveness. And frankly, blue team here on the left just doesn't have the eco to do anything, and every minute or so, Pro Aim steals some more money, which is just, it's not helping the whole economic situation at all. The blue team here, like it's very, very much so not helping. And there it is. Straight to the core. Team Pro Aim wins this round yet again. That was an very well done, very well played from all players. Very well done. Well played, well played. Disassembly with nothing but T1 tech. Yeah. It is interesting. I don't remember the last time I've seen rockets done in a co-op match. Let me rephrase. I don't think I've seen enough high caliber co-op matches recently to make any meaningful statements in the matter. But it's certainly certainly interesting to see it happen. The economic damage from those rockets is so strong. The moment I saw that upgrade center going down, I figured it was going to be rockets. Mostly because the map is so small. Like, the forts were so close to each other that how can you not go rockets? They're so effective.
With those kind of maps, you usually see either rockets or howitzers.
Yes. Okay. And now we just need the opponents. And then we'll be good to go. I'm okay with this. Like, it's more simple for the players as well. Okay. If there's trust issues there, I can just have them leave. The electric cat hurting at the other end won't hurt anything.
We are not picky, but
yeah,
sentimental. Want to do it in a standard way.
It's fine. They're half trolling anyways. Yeah, I see what's happening here. Every time the map changes, it swaps into Team TDM from Co-op. Okay. Let's do this. And we're off, ladies and gentlemen. The next match, it is Team Brain Damage here on the left-hand side, facing off against their opponents. On the right, it is Team Pro Aim. Now, this is another map with disconnected quadrants, as it were. We have something akin to a standard vanilla base in the lower elements, but in the upper elements, at least the upper rear elements, there is a completely disconnected spot where you can build things, but there is no core here. Which is an interesting idea. I like it. We'll see how the teams manage to use this to their advantage, as it seems that pretty much all of the expansion you have to do is in the rear base, or at least the rear platform, but you start with absolutely nothing there, which is a little bit rough to deal with, I can imagine. And now, last time we saw a base which had this style, we saw the players open with a early upgrade sensor into AP sniper to destroy everything in those expansions, leaving their opponents with nothing but the starter core, which is not a whole lot, making it a little difficult to get any kind of advantage, you know, when you don't have anything to build with. We'll see if that makes the same kind of play here, because what it seems to be is Team BDG is not trying for that at all. They're just going to kill their opponents. Going with the Rocket Rush, will Team Pro Aim get a taste of their own medicine?
It is flipped. Teams are. Pro Aim on the left.
You are correct.
Looks like they learned from the last match and decided to go early aggression rather than try to go later on such a map.
You are correct. It is Team Pro Aim here on the left, and Team Brain Damage on the right. And Team Pro Aim doing the exact same thing they did last time, going early aggression with these rockets. We are going to see they are implementing it a little bit differently. They're opening EMPs rather than opening rockets, rather opening the high explosive rockets at least. This is a little bit different, as not only does it reveal their strategy in a very forward way, but it also doesn't hit nearly as hard or as fast. However, it does apply pressure, which ramps up to eliminate their opponents in a much more consistent manner, in a gradual pattern. If you notice here that Team Brain Damage on the right doesn't have any real defenses against this just yet. And yet, here comes the first rocket. High explosive rockets slowly being launched. Looks like Team Pro Aim is keen to aim for the foundations. Try to hit that extra resource node. I can only imagine Team Pro Aim is looking to drain the eco of Team Brain Damage, one rocket at a time. And they've almost succeeded. Pro Aim activating their commander ability. With the Architect Commander, they will be able to construct things extraordinarily quickly. Even things like that machine gunner coming online in just a few seconds. But they don't have any heavy weapons tech, so Team Pro Aim on the left doesn't have to deal with any heavy weapons. Like, they're not going to be getting punished here for this. It's just too much of a ramp. The pressure is building, and Team Brain Damage has been slowed down by all this gradual pressure coming in from Team Pro Aim, and it just keeps ramping up and up. A fourth rocket coming online just about now, still in the EMP stage of its life. Oof. A little bit of self-destructive behavior there. I trying to question, like, what can Team Brain Damage on the right here do with this? Like they need map. At this point, it's too far gone. They need to have some manner of map control, or Team Pro Aim's just gonna rocket them down. Like, they need to regain some map control here. But they only have one sniper. It's just not enough. They need so much more. They need so much more.
Yeah, they're so busy repairing that they can't build on the top base. They've gotten about 2 struts up there built in the time since they got hit.
Exactly. This is why you can't have one base eco and get hit by... This is why a single player, when they get hit by rockets, gets soft locked and somebody else has to come save them. It just costs too much money to repair. As is, I mean, you can see the resources at the right-hand side here. The team brain damage players, they can't afford anything, and every time they get hit, they have to pay that which they cannot afford. It's devastating. They don't have a solution to it. They need to use their existing sniper to deal any damage, and they can't repair anything. Not without running out of money. Look at that. The rockets, they just keep landing. And there goes the sniper.
In this case, going with the upgrade station probably hurt them far more because they're unable to get down a cannon or anything to force out double doors and shields and such.
Yes. Yeah, no, the upgrade center definitely... That was a diversion. Not a diversion. That was a tangential path, a detour that they could not afford. Typically, when going architects, you can kind of sort of afford to get the upgrade center, banking on your opponents going for heavy weapons and giving you time to catch up in the build order. Team Pro Aim is not doing a heavy weapons build order. They're just trying to blow up Team Brain Damage, and they're succeeding. It looks like Brain Damage is attempting to make up for this lack of eco by upgrading their mines, which they've managed to do and will help a little bit. But, I mean, they've got a hole in their base. And they're... Now Team Pro Aim is starting to take aim at the upper expansion as well. It is absolutely not going to help. At least not going to help Team Brain Damage. It'll help Team Pro Aim quite a lot.
Yeah, without the 1 or 2 gunners to take out, a significant amount of the rockets, they just don't have the eco. Doesn't matter how many mines they upgrade.
Exactly. I mean, the mines certainly help. They most certainly help. It's better than nothing, but like, oof. Big oof. Okay, so it looks like Team Brain Damage is really starting to use that spaced wood, those big boxes. Trying to mitigate as much damage as possible. That smoke launcher is the difference maker here. I mean, there it is. All the defenses are breached. Batteries in direct danger. And there we have it. Team Pro Aim wins this match. Very well done. Questions from chat. The team name just swapped? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That is my fault. You know, with maps of these dimensions, the rockets are quite popular. And with good reason. It's very effective. Team Pro Aim showing their dominance here. All right. So we have BD as Team Brain Damage, Team 1 or Team 2?
They would be Team 1. Bog would be Team 1.
Okay.
Wait, no, Bog would be Team 2.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the next round. Next to the next match. Well, Team Bog versus Team Brain Damage. Brain Damage is Team 1, yes?
Yes, they are.
Excellent. Okay. Well, that was fast. Love to see it. And we're off. Welcome to the Treacherous Straits, a 1v1 map where it's being played by 2 players apiece. Here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Brain Damage playing as the Warthog Commander, gaining themselves those buffed heavy weapons. They're playing against their opponent's Team Bog. Playing as the Pinch Fist Commander, they'll get to see themselves speeding through the early game. However, I do want to make the observation there's really not much in the way for Team Bog to take advantage of here with the Pinch Fist Commander. They start with low eco and not much resources on this map, so we may see not a whole lot of benefit to the Pinch Fist pick here. Whereas Team Brain Damage on the left side's got Warthog, so they'll be able to have some sustained and, well, constant buffs to their weapons in the later game. Ooh, interesting choice. That is a swarm missile launcher. Oh no. So Team Bog on the right, they're going for triple swarms, which is a lot of swarm, and they desperately need more mine. Like, surely you put an extra mine there in front, right? Like, you gotta do that. You can't not do that, because you don't have the eco to sustain anything if you don't. Oh my god, that's a 4 swarms. So 4 swarms needs more turbines than they currently have. It also is going to need more mines. So at some point, because weapons do cost metal to fire, and they're sitting on 2 mines right now, which is not a whole lot of mines.
I sure hope they are able to fire those swarms correctly.
Are you concerned about the Watcher sprite causing some...
Yeah. Little. It should work. I just thought about that. This is a poor time to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
Interesting, I guess they went Pinch Fist, I guess because they're going 4 swarms. Going with that rather than Seep or Warthog.
I don't know why the Pinch Fist pick. There's like 2 pieces of metal on this, in this fort. You can...
Yeah, that's a good point.
You can
There's
sell.
actually a lot of metal on the base fort in comparison to something like vanilla.
I don't think that's true.
Let's see. I think there's 1 more piece of metal, which isn't a lot. We'll see if it pays off for them to get the swarms a little early or not.
Yeah, I mean, 4 swarms is enough to deal massive amounts of damage. Like, I consider them hybrid weapons because they're not heavy weapons which are meant to break bases, but they do so much more damage than the harassment weapons like snipers and machine guns that they can actually break struts and like break bases if you have like more than one of them. So, like even here, those 2 swarms managed to break through the sandbag, break the sandbag, and then 2 turbines behind. That's not something you can do with snipers. That's just... They are fundamentally more powerful than your harassment weapons, but they aren't as powerful. They're not in the same caliber, not in the same league as your heavier weapons. So with 4 of them, they can absolutely deal real damage if they just aim all of them consistently in the same place. The problem, of course, is that they just don't have the eco for that. So... Yikes.
Well, with the wind floor here, they're managing to suppress BDG's turbines, at least for the moment. And with the buzzsaw support, these swarms
could be lethal.
Might end up doing crazy damage.
Yeah. Like that, they overpenned the base with swarm missiles, which is not something you see every day.
This is a true pinch build. Because there is no comeback to this. You die if the swarms fail.
Yes, absolutely. I am kind... God, they just need so much more energy production. They need so much more everything. And of course, now swarm missiles coming out of Team Brain Damage. This is going to be devastating. Not that the swarms from Bog haven't been devastating, but Team Brain Damage is not relying on swarm missiles, not relying on having 1 turbine. Like, Team Brain Damage, they have they have twice the economy of Team Bog here. If they lose a turbine, it's fine. If they lose a mine, it's fine. If they lose some defenses in front, it's fine. Team Bog cannot afford that, like, at all. Losing 2 turbines there is going to put a very short lifespan on the amount of damage that they can deal with their swarms. Which is kind of not good. Not for Team Bog. I'm noticing that Team Bog isn't even getting AA. Like, they're going with sandbags. They're going with the incredibly risky option. They're saying, we're taking the cheapest route possible because they just don't have the eco to do anything else. They are getting an upgrade center. I'm still surprised they didn't go with a 3rd mine there. Like, they could have sold that forwardmost metal strut and then replace it with the mine. But man, once weapons come out for Team Brain Damage, it's gonna get really bad for Team Bog. The only question is, will those swarms be enough to realistically end the game before BDG makes a actual weapon that can deal damage? I think the answer is I think Team Brain Damage is going to get that weapon out, mostly because they kind of already have. The nuke is completed. Once the sniper finishes reconstruction, it's going to be probably just directly game ending. Like La Familia, they just... Team Bog here on the right, they just don't have anything.
Yeah, they failed to get the kill with the buzzsaws or do critical damage, so it is up to either survival until nukes, or if they can get down maybe a buzzsaw, they have a possibility of coming back here.
Exactly. And even the problem with that is that's just an opportunity to penetrate the defenses of Brain Damage. That isn't really a win condition. I mean, it can be, but then they still have to hit exactly the core and hope that it works.
Well, actually, in this situation, because of the swarms earlier, their core's down to 30%, which means a lucky nuke here could just kill BDG.
It could. It's so inconsistent. It's so not common to have that happen. It just, it's a risky play. And if it fails, like they have a chance, but it's a risky play. And if it fails, brain damage is just going to be that much further ahead. And the next time they roll the dice, the chances will be even more slim. Here they go. The dice are rolling. EMP wipes out chunks of the swarms. The nuke. It did it. It went above the core, slammed down right on top of it, splash damaging it from above. And there they go. Team Bog, with swarms aplenty, managed to take a victory in this round. All right. Believe we're going into a best of 3 here.
Yes, as BDG saved their best of 3, and they have the possibility of coming back.
Excellent. All right then. So we go into the next match, or the next round here in a moment, as we have to add. The bands have already been completed. We already have the global bands, and now the two additional commanders, Pinch Fist and Warthog.
Yes. Fortunately, Team 1 did not manage to use that Warthog ability, other than with the nuke.
That seems to be a reoccurring trend. This cooperative competition's left a whole lot of aggressive play from everyone. All right. We're about ready to start here. Yeah, re-enable co-op. I don't know why that's not. Why is it like this?
One more quality of fix thing that the developers have to do.
That never used to happen.
You win some, you lose some. Every fix you make, another problem arises.
Actually, though. Welcome to coding. Okay, let's go. And we're off.
Let's see here. Hopefully they don't get their barrels sniped this time. Well, not the same teams, but hopefully they've learned.
Well, only one way to find out, as here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Brain Damage. This is, of course, the map with the slanted swarm missile position that we saw. It looks like we're going to be going for some barrel sniping plays once again, as we already have an upgrade center placed for Team Brain Damage. Whereas Team Bog, opening with a workshop. Interesting commander choices. So we do have the Seep commanders selected for Team Brain Damage on the left. So we're going to be expecting either rockets or more commonly swarm missiles out of the left side team. Whereas the rightmost team, with the Armadillo commander, tends to play a bit more defensive, which I suspect will not work in this instance. We already have a sniper placed, ready to be upgraded for team brain damage. Looks like all teams are investing at least somewhat into their expansions. There's the sniper upgrade, looking to snipe out some of those barrels. Remember, every barrel destroyed means one fewer expansion for their opponents, which is kind of a big deal, given that the expansions are account for a majority of the eco for each team. One thing to note, Team Bog, the rightmost team, is not looking to be aggressive at all in this early stage of the game. They just don't have any tech which would lend toward that. They're going straight heavy weapons, it would seem. Indeed they are. And there is your laser production facility. I'm surprised we haven't seen swarm missiles placed yet for team brain damage. The left team, despite playing as the Siege commander, seems to be investing in things that aren't missiles right now, which is usually not how that goes, especially given that the upgrade center has already completed. Notably, the upgraded sniper for team brain damage hasn't been fired, doesn't even have a door on it. I imagine that's because Team Bog has sufficiently defended their barrels so they can't be sniped off by a wayward sniper. I mean, I guess there is technically an angle, but it's not something that team brain damage is likely to see.
Looks like they were building it up so that they could ideally not be scouted so early. We'll see here, because Bog decided to go so heavy on eco, looks like they're going to be fairly safe and be able to build some gunners. We'll see though, because Seep does things sometimes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My concern is that Bog is likely to get heavy weapons out on the field and firing before brain damage has any meaningful firepower out, which is just not what the world you want to be living in if you're going for swarm missiles. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It is a moral travesty to go swarm missiles and not rush them. And that's what we see brain damage going. They're going for swarm missiles, but they're not rushing them because we're on Canada clock right now, and no one has any weapons. The problem is that brain damage is going for swarm missiles, but the time has already passed for those. If you're going for weapons at now o'clock, you want heavy weapons because you can afford them. Bog has one plasma, a quarter of the way done. Brain damage's swarms are coming online right now, but they're just swarms. They're not heavy weapons. They're not even nukes. Well, we'll see how this plays out, as those swarms should be firing from team brain damage here in a moment.
Frenches aren't going to do so well on this map, it seems.
There we go. Swarms launched. They take out a gunner and a couple wooden struts, but nothing of consequence. The nukes are... There's one nuke being upgraded for team brain damage. It seems they are content to leave their swarms as they are for now.
While Bog is looking pretty good here on Eco, I'm a little surprised they don't have that many heavy weapons. They're definitely fairly safe, but not really aggressive either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not terribly surprised about the lack of outright aggression, given that they're playing as the Armadillo Commander, but they are so passive. It's quite a substantial surprise to me there. Like, you gotta have at least something. Like, the one plasma laser, it's there. It's coming online right now, 3 minutes past Canada clock, or 2 minutes past Canada clock, which is quite late.
Oh no, they placed the weapons next to the barrel.
Well, that's unfortunate for them. Team Bog loses their only weapon to a sniper, and an entire expansion with it, missing out on 3 mines, which is actually exactly half of their metal income. So Team Bog desperately wants to reclaim that, or just suffer the consequences of not having an expansion, which is insufferable and will cause them to lose the game given enough time. Solid hits. It looks like Team Brain Damage is aiming at that position. I can only imagine because they assume there are weapons in that position, which would make sense to me, because that's a good little weapon position. Except that there are no weapons in that position. In fact, there's no weapons anywhere. It's 8 minutes into the match, and Team Bog just doesn't have weapons at all. She's not.
They are at an advantage when it comes to eco still, and they can tank until their weapons are up. That is, unless they start losing other of their barrels, because if they lose any more eco here, they won't have too much opportunity to come back.
Yeah, so right now Team Bog is sitting on 16 metal per second, whereas Team Brain Damage is sitting on 34. That's just twice the eco advantage to Brain Damage right now. Mind you, Brain Damage doesn't have all that much in the way of firepower, not at least not for this stage of the game. One nuke is a good start, and it is slowly wearing down Team Bog's everything. Knocking out one more taking out the barrel on the expansion, but that expansion is quickly reclaimed. Brain Damage upgrading a second warhead, which will deal potentially game-ending damage with 2 warheads on the field.
Looks pretty bad here, as BDG is total map control at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Every angle with the sniper possible.
Look at that. Both players with Team Brain Damage hanging on the sniper. Oh, there goes another mine. Well, that's not an ideal situation for Team Bog. Knocked down to +9 metal per second, plus... No, they're still in 13 metal per second. Okay. Uh-oh. Buzzsaw. Oh, there's blood in the water. Ooh. The anti-missile defense got shut down and sawed off. BDG immediately fired, which is terrifying.
No heavy weapons coming up for them. Looks like it's just a matter of time until a buzzsaw cuts deep enough for a nuke to land right on the core.
Oh yeah, and it's cutting it real close as is. As there we have a nuke coming in close enough to splash, bringing the core down to 66%. Not enough to end the game. Remember, with Bog's eco sundered as it is, they just don't have incomes. They can't realistically repair. They're selling off their metal storage because, I mean, they're not going to be storing any metal anytime soon.
Looks like they're Almost killed them with the miniguns.
Death by minigun. Not something you see every day, but the defenses across the top got taken out, and those miniguns are just raining from above. They've got the angle. It looks like Bog is trying to defend against that angle, but I mean, they just don't have the metal for it. They're sitting on 0 metal right now. Like, they're actually empty. And there are shots coming in from every direction.
Yeah, they're focusing on selling everything and getting fire beams. A single fire beam on the bottom extension would take it out, but that's not going to be enough to come back.
Certainly not. Wow. I believe this here is the end. Stun locked as they are in the death spiral, deep into the death spiral. Bog will be able to fire a fire beam. Nope. That just immediately shut down. And with that, their last hope, they quite literally have nothing left in their fort. No devices, no infrastructure, no technology, and soon not even struts of wood to hold up their core. Oh, they're hanging in there. Exposed core, sniper time. Oh, so many buzzsaws. And there it goes. Well played. Team Brain Damage claiming victory in this round. Well done.
That ties up the best of 3. So, one last round to see who wins.
Excellent. So we will have Brain Damage versus Bog once more on Wretched Spires. You have a moment while we prepare the next round. I wonder what strategies will be used this time. Will it be rockets again? This is the Abyss-like map. Rockets
Abyss.
quite effective here.
Yes, Abyss and Pillars.
Indeed. It is... Commander's disabled. Oh no.
No more interesting gameplay.
Back to the basics.
Was it Seep? Yes, it was. Back to the commanders that aren't chosen. So... Oh no. They've forgotten the bands. I can't remember the bands. Oh man.
They were posted up in chat.
Yes.
All right. Let us go. All right, so the players are selecting their commanders. And then we'll be jumping right into the match. Let's go. Once more into the fray.
We will see with all the commanders, all the common commanders banned, going with the less common ones. Firebird.
Indeed. Firebird. Firebird and Spook. Spook I could have seen coming a mile away, but Firebird. Honestly, Firebird is like one of those fun commanders you don't see in competitive play because it just doesn't do enough. At least not enough meaningful.
You see it sometimes on Abyss, and this is about the same distance. It's just there's no lower base, which actually means it's harder to snipe the mortars from above. So there's an argument here to go Firebird.
Yes. After you've banned everything else. Yes. So here we have on the left-hand side, it is Team Brain Damage playing as the Spook Commander. They're getting themselves ready for what is likely to be an aggressive match. Whereas Team Bog on the right-hand side in the red, I imagine are doing the exact same thing, but are going to be the aggressors here as the Firebird Commander. Already have the upgrade center placed. Team Brain Damage not yet placed their second tier of tech. I wonder if they're going to be going for, I mean, aside from just dominating the map control, winning handily the sniper phase. That was, well, that was disgusting. Team Brain Damage is immediately taking the snipers out for Team Bog. Let's see. Oh, interesting decision. So Team Brain Damage going for the second tier 1 tech, having constructed both a workshop and an armory. That's not something you see every day, and I don't know why they're doing that one.
The flak here are probably going to be pretty useful, as you can upgrade it into shotguns later. You can actually see Bog is doing shotguns, which is the meta for Abyss. But
yes,
buzzsaws are just so useful for these kind of maps where you have this large of an angle. I can't imagine that it's there for much else than that. Buzzsaws.
so that's where my brain was going. But I find it difficult to justify an entire tech just for buzzsaws. Because buzzsaws don't... They're a supplementary weapon. And if you don't have other weapons, a difference doesn't make.
See, the thing is, they're Spook. And they're able to realize there's no tier 2 tech. So, if they're able to build those buzzsaws and then harass Team 2 until their upgraded mortars, their shotguns are gone, then they'll be in the advantage. Because as you can see, I mean, they're not super high up on eco right now, but they're definitely going pretty heavily into it. So I think it's just heavy focus on map control here. And then, yeah, as you can see, they're going cannon tech after. So they're using Spook to their advantage. So they'll be able to see where their weapon emplacements are and where they have the vulnerabilities that they can buzzsaw into.
I still don't see any buzzsaws. I get the thought process. I just don't see it happening because they're not doing it.
No, they just want all the techs ever as they get the
upgrade. Yeah. They're getting an upgrade center as well. This just... They were showing... I think they're just being greedy and they want everything. Which, while an understandable sentiment, there are about to be rockets and shotgun spam slamming into them, and that's not... We're coming up on cannon to clock in like 30 seconds. I could have had a cannon out.
What's very interesting is you don't really see Firebird with rockets or shotguns. You usually see it with mortars and nukes. So
Yes.
I'm interested to see how powerful it is.
I mean, I guess we're gonna find out.
Those are all shotguns. Actually, there's a single rocket. That's... Huh.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them get a number of machine gunners just to spread the fire a little bit.
With that many shotguns, you don't need machine gunners.
That's true, but they're so cheap, you could just use them anyways. Alright, it looks like Team Bog is about ready to open fire. They won't be able to open fire with their commander active to start with, but I'm pretty certain they just have to start firing before their opponents get too far ahead. There they go. Commander active is now available. Just in time for those shotguns to penetrate the defenses and destroy one of Brain Damage's mines. Here come the heavy mortars. No AA. A beautiful shot directly into the core of Brain Damage. Of course, there's enough defenses there to defend against the heavy mortars, but for how long? The commander active up for Team Bog. Everything is on fire, and, well, Team Brain Damage is about to be suffering that fate. Well, it was largely uneventful. At this point, Team Brain Damage, their cannon is about to come online, approaching the 7-minute mark. And Brain Damage now has one cannon ready to fire. It doesn't have a door on it just yet, so it can't quite get a shot off. But that, I can only imagine, will change very soon. Team Bog, their command ability is available once again. They will spread their fire around very soon.
I'm shocked with the 0 buzzsaws here. With the spook active, you should see the entire mortar line is vulnerable.
Well, there's your buzzsaw.
Yeah.
Coming up from Bog. Yeah, I still don't know what that workshop tech was for. Oh, cannon fires, but doesn't hit anything of value.
There was one shot there where they could have killed the core.
Didn't quite get it. The incendiary shotguns. Well, there's the machine gunners. Great for spreading the fire everywhere. Just resetting those flame timers. The Firebird fire effect is just so annoying to deal with. I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't seen any smoke launchers from Bog here. The Firebird smoke combo is kind of a meme, but also kind of good.
I think it's just because they have so much projectiles that they don't need smoke to continue the fire. They can just fire more projectiles.
You say that with shotguns that kind of comes in bursts, it doesn't keep things ignited for very long.
Assuming they use their machine guns.
Yes.
You know, not shooting their own mortars down.
That too. Oh gosh. God, I love the roar of the incendiary or flaming mortars. It's so good. Oh, we have a runaway fire. Brain Damage's main core is surrounded in flame. Looks like they get it in time before it breaks anything of significance, scary as it may be. The way the Firebird flames just kind of stick around and burn extra. It's always exciting. It's like a cliffhanger. Will it be enough to break? Oh, so very rarely does anything, but it's fun to think about.
BGG finally gets a first buzzsaw. Lost a few others. And no damage.
Alas, not quite there.
Only two cannons on the field. I don't think they have the capability of killing them.
There might be a drop shot from that upper cannon into the lower core, but 2 cannons is not a lot of cannon. It's enough cannon to penetrate and break something, say weapons. Hey, that buzzsaw finally managed to take out the mortar position. They did it.
And
oh no. Death by buzzsaw. Team Brain Damage. Their topmost core is sheared off the wall, losing its main load-bearing struts. It falls off the wall and onto the lower position, dealing some fairly substantial damage, but not quite removing them from the game entirely. Brain Damage still has those 2 cannons, which they can use, though they don't have the energy capacity to use them anymore. They will need to construct a battery if they intend to. They'll need to construct turbines, too. God, that was a devastating hit. Now is the time when they need to really start getting that incendiary effect onto Brain Damage's remaining locations. Would be a perfect opportunity. There's the fire. Yeah, spread that up and down the base. Keep firing. I want to see everything on fire, please. So close. Oh, but we do have a runaway fire in the upper section. Flak falls, and with it, it looks like there's going to be the turbine going too. Yeah, that's actually pretty painful for Brain Damage. You have a runaway fire taking out and burning out the entire top elements of their fort. Taking out snipers, turbines, and flak. 1 machine gunner bullet. It's enough to start that fire. Oh gosh. Losing another load-bearing strut, but not enough to cause the rest of the base to collapse. Brain Damage is hanging on by a thread, and also that thread is on fire. There it goes. Team eliminated. Team Brain Damage goes up in flames. Well done, Team Bog.
It was a very clean picking apart.
Yes. Well done. Alright, I believe we have the tiebreak match.
Let me see. I believe it is Bog versus Space Takers, and then we'll have the tiebreaker.
Alright. Sounds good to me. Buzzsaw MVP. Buzzsaw's so strong. Especially on those maps. But that's what Flint Shadow was saying on the Abyss-like map. It does great work. Like, really good work. Alright, so this will be Space Takers versus Bog. Let's get them in here. Hello, one. Hello, all. Alright, the players will be joining here momentarily as we got them on Discord, and then we'll be getting into the match. We will have to do bans.
Yes. Reset the bans from last time. Firebird turned out to be pretty good in that situation.
Yeah. I love to see match. It's so rare that we see matches where players go like lean hard into Firebird, but those are my favorite to watch, where they just have like 9 gunners and just constant tabby, refire them, and just keep the entire place locked down. Just the entire thing. Just everything is on fire. And mix it in with things like the AP snipers for the internal flames and well, whatever other weapons like buzzsaws and rockets and such. Alright.
Banning Seep after the last swarm missile rush.
They're tired of the swarm missiles. You know, it's so rare that we see people play Seep and then go rockets. But Seep also buffs rockets. I guess it's just rockets are rare to see. Strong in their niche, but rare outside of that. Alright. Looks like we're readying up. Can you tell which of these teams is American? One without all the German name in it. Let us go. God, look at all the badges. So many badges. It's beautiful. Alright. Let's do this. As we have this small little 1v1 map, but 2 players per fort. Here on the left-hand side, it is Team Space Takers. Eaton and Cloud. Playing as the Spook. Opening Spook. Interesting. Don't see that every day. Well, they'll get to know what their opponent's playing as, because their opponents, Team Bog, Derbensi, and Slack, playing as the Pinchfist Commander. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I wonder why they're choosing Spook. Maybe it's because it's a 1v1 map. So with one core, it just like percentage-wise ends up being a little bit bigger of a swing. curious. Now I want to know. There are so many options.
They probably want to play a little safe, as they are in the lead.
That too. I mean, it's Eaton here. As much as I give him sass about playing risky, he doesn't he genuinely isn't as reckless as I tend to sass him about. Most of his things are actually pretty safe. It just looks extremely unsafe. But this is actually playing Spook here comes off as defensive and playing it more than just safe but cautiously. Which is not something I'm accustomed to seeing. At least not out of Eaton. The Pinch Fist commander choice, that's not a big surprise to me. It looks like they're going with the heavy weapons variant of it as well. Going with the cannon rush rather than the quad swarms that we saw last time. Whereas Space Takers, I mean, they're going for the same kind of build order, but instead of cannons, it's going to be lasers. I can't say too much. Spook is still one of my favorite commanders. They're just so good. And by good, I mean reasonable at everything. Just because they have the eco benefit. The eco swing is so nice. Okay. So far, nothing terribly eventful. It's worth noting that Bog is going with the howitzer variant of the cannons. So we see one howitzer and one... Is that a 20? That's not a 20, is it? Oh no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do this to me. Why are you like this? Okay. Well... Okay. So, I mention this like every time I see this, but the 20 mil does not have the penetrative power of the standard cannon. Thus, if you run howitzer 20 mil, you don't get to penetrate into the enemy's base. You just deal surface level splash damage. And sure, it's a lot of splash damage, and did that EMP... Did they snipe the EMP, or like their own EMP out of the sky, or did I miss it?
Did not hear it hit, so I believe they probably did.
Because that... I didn't notice the snipe, and it looked like it just exploded mid-air, now I'm confused. Okay. Anyways, we do have the howitzer 20 mil combo coming out from Bog, which it just doesn't have the penetrated power of something like, say, the 20 mil cannon combo. It does a fair bit of splash damage, which, while nice, isn't nearly as powerful as the standard cannon mix-in. Oh, yeah, there's the fire beam doing fire beam things.
Well, they got the 20 mil, but they trade.
Yeah.
Which
I'm not actually...
That ends up being pretty good because the 20 mil would clear out the gunners here, which may end up with a howitzer flaming all their turbines.
Yes.
So assuming they hit a sniper shot here, they could kill it. Oh, or not.
Well, there you go. A direct hit with the howitzer. Great damage. taking out the other fire beam, leaving Team Space Takers with no weapons. And selling off their laser production facility. They're tech swapping here. Or just going for massive amounts of map control, one of the two.
The EMP is usually pretty consistent. We'll see if they hit it this time.
There's a hit. Kind of. This is such a slow match, I'm confused. What is...
They're waiting to snipe the EMP, so the EMP can't counter the howitzer. It's just it's a game of chicken and... Chicken? Yes, effectively.
I mean... now they're just sitting there. You gotta do something. Okay, they got a second howitzer. Alright. Alright. I'm okay with this. Okay. I am questioning what Team Space Takers is looking to do. They did get an upgrade center and have upgraded 2 of their mines. So that usually screams that they're going for a later game, like they're just trying to ramp up their eco and outscale their opponents. It's kind of a rough time to be doing so. Oh! That was beautiful. I think the EMP was going to miss anyways, but they still used the sniper to snipe it out, protecting the howitzer, letting the howitzer actually land their hits. And this is why I was saying that it's a bit late to do this kind of thing, because at this point, Space Takers really doesn't have anything to stop that howitzer from just coming across the sky and clearing out things like their turbines. You don't have economy if your base gets blown up. So, like... well, there you go. Upgrade your turbines, they all get blown up. You don't have upgraded turbines anymore, then you don't have that bonus eco, and then you just have nothing, and then you explode. In this case, to howitzers. So, this is an interesting idea. They are running with that extra shotgun so that they can take out the howitzer. But once the second howitzer comes online, they're going to be right back where they were, only with more at stake.
I will note here, Bog does have a little bit of instability, although apparently it doesn't matter. So that's a heavy hit.
The double howitzer lands. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, this is not the condition you want to be in for if you're Space Takers. We have Bog expanding their base even more. Getting up a standard cannon now into the mix. Here comes the howitzer rounds once more. Shotgun takes it, but now there's a second howitzer, which they just about have the energy to fire. There it is. Nice. They need to, Bog needs to be a bit more on top of their energy management here. Look at all those blinking red struts. Aren't they stressful to watch? The base could collapse at any point in time? Nah, they've got stability tech in there. It'll be fine. The turbine just exposed and out there. Interesting play. Going with the mortars for Team Space Takers. Double howitzer. 1 shotgun, 2 howitzer rounds. Oof. Huh. Well, that's awkward. The swarm missile in the rear is blocked by the upgrade center. So they're going to have to sell that off to use it. Though I suspect that won't be too big of a deal for them. Now that the standard cannon is online, however, those shotguns will not protect against the incoming damage. Which means those howitzers, while dangerous... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Both shotguns were used. That's going to have a moment where the second howitzer can do something. And they elect not to. Mortar lands. Uh-oh. If only they still had a fire beam. Howitzer. 1 lands. Doesn't break anything of importance, just slapping away some of the defenses. Nice shot with the cannon. Straight into the doors of one of those shotguns. Gonna cause some substantial amount of repair bill required. God, it's just a whole bunch of low-tier tech and weapons against the heavy weapons. And honestly, Team Bog is struggling to field the heavy weapons, citing energy issues as well as lack of map dominance. Team Space Takers is managing to do it. I think the big issue is that Team Bog is just not firing their weapons. Like, you've got a standard cannon that you will be doing damage every single time you fire that, so it should be fired on cooldown every time. The howitzers... the howitzers are a little bit not amazing in this situation, just because of the amount of anti-air for Team Space Takers. But at least it gets damage done sometimes when you fire it. So they really just need to be firing their weapons, especially that standard cannon. And that's what we're not seeing. We're not seeing that consistency of weapon firing out of them. Lacking that consistency, Team Space Takers is just expanding slowly. They're getting additional turbines where once they had nothing. They're getting a nuke behind their base, which is not something I expected to see happen. And they're almost there. The nuke flies. Interesting. Team Bog does have a bit of AA, but not enough to defeat the nuke, at least not while the mortars are flying across. So Team Bog eats the nuke, but honestly, Team Bog's base is so thick, so big, they've been so far ahead for such a large amount of time that the nuke just doesn't do much. Okay. Ooh, the triple heavy mortar actually makes it across. That's scary to see. Because it hurts so much. I love the incendiary mortar just acting as bait. Look at that. That machine gunner firing at the mortar rather than the nuke. And the nuke makes it across. Splashing harmlessly into the nuke catcher. Oh, but the mortars are starting to take their toll. Good lord, it is so rare to see mortars beat this level of effective at this stage of the game. Generally, you have so much eco, so large of a base, with so much AA opportunities that mortars they just don't do anything. And yet they just took out a cannon. And one of the machine gunners. Machine gunner couldn't do its job even to save its own life, eh? Here comes the nuke once more. Ooh, and the buzzsaw at the right moment destroys the nuke catcher just in time for the nuke to land. That's, this is looking quite unfortunate for Team Bog.
They could buzzsaw right now and get a kill.
Absolutely. And of course, as Spook, Space Takers definitely knows this. In fact, they've retasked their mortars to aim for that position exactly. I think they're just going to aim for the howitzers with their weapons, because why not?
Single gunner is not too great, but I mean, sometimes it'll take out that nuke, you know, just enough. Oh,
absolutely.
Oh man, so very close here.
Yeah, Eaton on those shotguns, very well done, clearing the skies from those howitzers pretty consistently. As the mortars are making it across. Yeah, Team Bog really needs to work on their map control. They don't... Team Space Takers doesn't have much to prevent exposed gunners, yet Team Bog doesn't have exposed gunners.
There we go.
Ooh, there it is. That's exposed howitzers. The mortars are tasked on point to follow up, and there it is. Team Space Takers claims victory here. Very, very well done.
Yes.
Very clean. Like, that's, I mean, I guess...
It was offset, but the thing is, what Eaton specializes in is everything. Mortars,
yes.
Everything, every part of the game.
It's true. It's true. He specializes in everything, which is a weird thing to say. But, I mean, it feels bad because the solution to that is usually, you know, have exposed gunners and wipe the sky of everything wipe the sky of everything missile and mortar, and when they try to deal with your gunners or the snipers, you snipe them back. And maybe a shotgun to help deal with the sniper. But, like, it feels like Bog didn't try hard enough to contest map control, and barring having map control, Team Bog just didn't have the weapons to deal with anything. Like, the howitzers require some measure of map control in order to function, and they just didn't have it. It's rough. It's real rough. And just like that, we get victory for Team Space Takers.
Pulled out a consistent gameplay, even with the fairly different map styles there. Just got them all. So
Love to see it.
Yeah, Space Takers would be first, and Pro Aim is going to be second, Bog third, and EDG unfortunately not winning any maps.
Oh gosh, it hurts
well, they
so
won
much.
They won one on a best of 3, but they lost the other 2 maps after that.
Unfortunate. Well, big shout out to Team Space Takers taking first place. I believe there was a prize for this one. It was a badge and a $20 Steam gift card.
I believe so. Let me double check. I don't remember if it's $20 per player or combined. It is. It's $20.
Excellent. For Team 1, and also I think second place.
Yes. No badge, but, you know. That's what
Yes.
Eaton is here for. He's here for the badge.
Unironically, that is realistically what the players come in for. Like, every time. It's the badges! Have you seen the badge list on these guys? It's crazy. Okay. I mean, He's still in the lobby. Let me bring this up here. So we see Eaton here in the lobby hanging out with his last. This is a truncated bit of his badges. You click his badge button. It comes down this giant list of additional badges. This is this man's. Holy smokes! It's impressive. And I think helicopter is actually the most. Is helicopter the most badged, or is it? I don't even think Eaton has the most badges.
I think Eaton has more from season badges. Although maybe it's just gold season badges that he has. Can't quite remember.
I don't. It's close. It's close.
Yeah.
Good God. My lord, congratulations. Well done, all participants. Thank you. Shout out to Eaton and Cloud taking first place, winning that badge and that gift card. Well done, everyone involved. Thank you guys for enjoying. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of content, and thank you to Flynn for putting this together, running everything behind the scenes to Flynn's 2v2 co-op competition. One thing at all. Have a good night, guys. And I'll see you guys later when we go live for our normal stream time. But for now, good luck out there.